Hey, if you're an early riser, you've probably noticed something, well, spectacular lighting up the eastern sky. Right now, one of our closest planetary neighbors is putting on an absolutely brilliant show. And in this explainer, we're going to break it all down: what it is, how you can see it, and what's really happening up there in the cosmos. So let's start with this. You look out towards the sunrise, and there's this one point of light that just outshines everything else. I mean, it looks like an impossibly bright star. So what is it? Well, here's a little hint for you. Despite how it looks, it's not a star at all. Nope. It's actually something much, much closer to home. And the fact that it has this steady, piercingly brilliant light, that's the dead giveaway. And the answer is, that's the planet Venus. You know, the morning star, the evening star, that's her. She's so incredibly bright because, one, she's pretty close to us, relatively speaking, and two, her thick, dense clouds reflect a ton of sunlight right back at us. Okay, so you want to see it for yourself, right? Perfect. Let's get into your very simple, no-fuss guide to spotting the second planet from the sun. And the best part? You don't need any fancy equipment, just your eyes. Seriously, it is this straightforward. First thing, just face east. You know, the direction the sun comes up. You'll want to be looking around 3 a.m. your local time because Venus pops up a few hours before the sun does. Now, if you know your constellations, you can find Orion. Venus will be shining right near the hunter's hand. But honestly, just look for the brightest thing in that part of the sky that isn't twinkling. You literally can't miss it. Okay, let's get specific for a sec. If you were in New York City on August 1st, 2025, you'd see Venus rise around 3 in the morning. By sunrise, it's already climbed to an altitude of 31 degrees above the horizon. Now, obviously, these times change depending on where you are, so make sure to check a skywatching app or website for your exact location. So what does 31 degrees high even mean? Here's a super cool trick that astronomers use all the time. Hold your arm straight out and make a fist. That fist, from the top knuckle to the bottom, it covers about 10 degrees of the sky. So for our New York example, you just stack about 3 fists, one on top of the other, starting from the horizon. It's an awesome way to measure the sky with your own hands. And hey, there's a bonus. While you're out there looking at Venus, just shift your gaze about 1 fist's width, so 10 degrees to the lower left. See that other bright light? That's Jupiter, the gas giant just hanging out in the constellation Gemini. How cool is that? 2 planets for the price of 1. All right, so now for the why. Why is Venus always a morning or an evening star? Why don't we see it high overhead in the middle of the night, like we can with Jupiter or Saturn? Well, the answer is all about the architecture of our solar system.
It all comes down to this term, inferior planet. Now, this has nothing to do with it being a lesser planet or anything. In astronomy, inferior just means its orbit is inside of ours. It's closer to the sun than we are. The only 2 in our solar system are Venus and Mercury.
And this one idea explains everything. Think of it like you're on a racetrack. Venus is on an inner lane, and the sun is at the very center. From your perspective, Venus can never look like it's far away from the center of the track. It's always going to be in that general direction. But the superior planets, Mars, Jupiter, and so on, they're on the outer lanes. That means we can look away from the sun and see them way up high in the dead of night. Now, this incredible morning show won't last forever. Venus is always on the move, performing this beautiful, predictable cosmic dance. And over the next few months, that dance is going to take it from our morning sky all the way over to our evening sky. So here's how that dance plays out. After hitting its peak height in August, you'll notice Venus getting a little lower and closer to the sunrise each morning through the rest of 2025. Then, around January 6th, 2026, it hits something called a solar conjunction. That just means it passes so close to the sun from our point of view that it gets totally lost in the glare. And right after that, it does the switch. It reemerges on the other side of the sun, reappearing as a brilliant evening star right after sunset. Okay, before we finish, a really, really important safety note. Because Venus is always near the sun, you have to be extremely careful if you're using binoculars or a telescope. Please never, ever point them anywhere near the rising or setting sun. The concentrated sunlight can cause instant, permanent damage to your eyes. Just be smart and be safe.
When you look up and see Venus shining there, you're not just seeing a pretty light. You're watching the beautiful, predictable mechanics of our solar system play out in real time. It's just a stunning reminder that the sky over our heads is this incredible clockwork of wonders, always offering something new to see. So the only question left is, what will you discover next?